David in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Thanks for waiting.
Hello, my name is David.
Hello?
And I watch our show. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch our show a lot, and I really like it. So I had a couple questions for y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
My question was, does Jesus exist, and is it proof of he didn't exist or ever existed?
It sounds, I'm not making fun of you. It sounds like you put a sock over the phone or something. I'm having it's all muffled. I can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, I'm sorry, this keeps Wi-Fi thing.
What was the question?
I don't think he asked if Jesus exists.
Ever exist?
I don't know.
If he did,
I don't know, but Richard Carrier is going to have a new book out addressing that topic.
And he's coming to the Bat Cruise.
Yeah, although you're in Missouri, so it'd be a little bit of a drive, but there's, what's written here is, did Jesus ever exist? Is there any proof that he didn't? His existence is an open question, one that I mentioned Richard Carrier is going to address in his next book that's coming out, I think, any time now.
Yeah.
I think I saw even a cover shot of it. But it's not, asking if there's proof that he didn't exist. I don't know how you'd necessarily have proof that somebody didn't exist.
Yeah.
Even if you had proof, for example, that the stories about somebody were fictions, that doesn't mean that there wasn't necessarily some person at the core of it. But it seems to me that the fact that we cannot demonstrate really well so that it's obvious to everybody that this individual actually did exist, that's kind of a problem for Christianity. And it doesn't matter whether or not, it's entirely possible that this person could have existed, which is a completely separate question from whether or not he was God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my question, because I was raised in a Christian cult, so we was both raised, we start to think different. It was weird, so.
Yeah, so the big answer is, I don't know, and I don't know that anybody else knows. There's a bunch of people who claim to be very, very, if not absolutely certain that he did exist, and they don't seem to be able to provide much in the way of confirmation to that. It's not really a big deal for me. It would not surprise me. When we talk about whether or not somebody existed, you can package together all of the purported facts about them, like, for example, George Washington. And you make a list of all the things that have been said about George Washington and reported. How many of them are, extraordinary, that they require something more than just saying it happened? And which ones are we pretty sure didn't happen, like the cherry tree thing? And for me, when I look at the story of Jesus, it's almost all cherry tree. The sorts of things that I would be willing to accept just based on somebody say so are incredibly trivial things that basically would leave us with, maybe there was somebody or several somebodies who existed around that time who said things like this, but we have no good reason to think that miracles were performed, or that this person was divine, or that they rose from the dead, or that zombies got up and marched on Israel, or on not Israel, Jerusalem.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, there could be a real person at the core of the King Arthur stories as well, but there's not enough information to conclude that it's anything more than a fictional account.
Well, and if you look at the stuff that Jesus supposedly preached, and you look at the sort of the popular theological thoughts at the time, if you take out all of the outrageous stuff like the zombies marching on Jerusalem and the obviously supernatural stuff, and you look at just the core message there, it's indistinguishable from what were really popular theological movements at the time.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're looking at the people who were trying to change,
right? Right. Yeah. This whole
anybody
concept
who would claim to have a Messiah.
Yeah. This whole concept of salvation and this sort of thing. It was a very attractive theological belief system at the time.
That parts of it are unique and different. I mean, for example, if you go to ironchariots.org, I've done a verse-by-verse deconstruction of the Sermon on the Mount, which I don't find to be particularly impressive at all.
The reason I asked that question was, they like to believe that Jesus is totally different, but then in the Old Testament it says that it was this way and it was this way only. So
I
it's
don't
like
know
they put a
what,
whole nother
Yeah.
story in the Bible.
I don't know what you said, David.
I said it's like they put a whole nother story in the Bible about Jesus and then just said that Jesus isn't God, but he's all three.
Yeah, there's some wrong with the phone line where I'm having a really hard time understanding what
Yeah.
you're saying. So, thanks for the call, but we're going to go ahead and move on.